What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more Victory at Sea coverage here as we work through the additional rules. We're going to take a look at squadrons today, and here what we're talking about are squadrons of ships, not like airplane squadrons or anything like that. So basically, it's a mechanism for making larger games move at a decent pace, as opposed to really bogging down if you were to alternate every last ship, basically, with alternate activations and things like that. So this just makes things a little bit faster, and again, just being able to move and activate chunks of your army at one time, or your fleet in this case, just makes for faster gameplay. So basically, admirals will place ships into squadrons in larger games. So as they're kind of recommending here, so use this. Only use it in games of at least 2,000 points, and really, if you're playing that size, it's almost always going to be quite a few ships, unless you're running that stuff like the Yamato where it's 1,000 points by itself. But by and large, a large game like that is going to have many ships and squadrons and all, or airplanes and all kinds of other stuff. So being able to again move pieces or more than one piece at a time for activation purposes just makes things faster. So if you use squadrons, you must organize ships into squadrons before a battle begins. Maximum of 6 in a squadron, though they need not all be of the same type, which is a bit curious. I would have figured they would have delineated here, basically putting like ships of similar sizes or classes into a squadron. But here, basically, you can if you wanted to, let's say, have a couple of destroyers, a couple of cruisers, and let's say a battleship in a squadron, you could do that. So, which makes for some interesting combinations, certainly, and another thing to really consider before the game begins. Then, once they've been placed into the squadron, here's the kicker, and this is really the main rule for squadrons. Basically, everything has to remain within 4 of at least one other ship in the squadron, unless they become crippled or destroyed, of course. So if either of those happen, the ship then basically automatically drops out of the squadron and is treated as a single ship from then on. You may also choose to split the squadron apart at any time, simply by moving them independently instead of as a whole squadron. So it gives you some flexibility where if the battle's changing and let's say you have slower and faster moving elements in a squadron, and the slower elements are going to hamper your faster elements getting to where they need to be at the right time or things like that, then you do have the option of at least splitting them apart, which again just gives you great flexibility throughout the game, so you're not 100% locked in to squadrons that might not make any more sense as a game develops. And then basically, while in the squadron, they all move and fire at the same time. So basically, move them all, then fire them all. So in effect, you nominate the entire squadron to move or fire instead of just one of its ships. You're under no restrictions to use the same orders or target the same enemies with the entire squadron, thankfully. So that's a good part there. It doesn't lock you into just using a overkill basically on ships in that sense. So you do get to have flexibility in what you target. It makes sense. It's always annoying when games kind of lock you into moving and shooting at things as a squadron that might otherwise not make as much sense. So this is nice here. Orders. The only requirement is that you keep all the ships within 4 of each other at all times, and make every effort to maintain this formation if they are ever split up. By the same token, enemies basically still target individual ships within the squadron as targets for their weapons rather than selecting a squadron as a whole, which makes sense. Again, you target individual ships. You wouldn't target a whole squadron and then have to then have additional mechanisms for choosing how the shots are divvied up and stuff like that. So really good stuff there. So if you have if an enemy is shooting at your squadron, they don't have to be stuck at shooting at something in there that maybe they wouldn't damage so well. So they're going to focus on the things that they can do well at, assuming they're in range and all that stuff. So overall, nice little rule here. Lets you, again, have some interesting flexibility and pair or group ships together to accomplish certain things. And then when those aren't relevant anymore, you can split up and go do your own thing. So and ships will naturally drop out here when they're crippled or destroyed. Makes sense. So really easy mechanics here to use the squadron. So that being said, guys, really interested in hearing what kind of squadrons you've been forming and how that has been successful for you. So are you running ships of all the same size or class? Are you mixing like cruisers and destroyers or other things together? What combinations have you found to be interesting or successful in the game? And let us know when or if, what kind of situations have caused you basically to like split your squadrons, things like that. So be really interested to hear from you guys on that. Let us know in the comments, please. And if you guys could hit us up with a subscribe as well, it helps keep the channel growing. And for those who want to support the channel a little bit more, there's a link in the description there. If you guys head over to Warlord, anything you pick up from there helps support the channel a little bit. So we appreciate everybody who's been doing that. Hope you guys enjoyed our quick little look at squadrons here, and we'll be back with more Victory at Sea. Take care.